Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently looking to land on Eve, and that of course means that we want to land on Eve. Now, I know that there's land somewhere around here from our previous orbit. I noted some mountains that were visible over here, so we're going to target for somewhere over this direction, and I think somewhere around 60 kilometers is pretty aggressive for Eve. We'll do something like that. Let's see how this ends up going, and we're going to lock to the node here. There we go. And let's get into position for this burn. We're on the dark side right now, or rather we're crossing into the dark side, but we definitely want to be coming down on the light side. Let's see how this goes. Warping forward a little bit further here. 3, 2, 1, and mark. Okay. We're going to be ditching a lot of fuel here, and I don't like that, but this upper stage is wildly overkill. I love it. It is beautiful, and it's wasted. It's completely and totally wasted. And that's okay. That's not a problem. Overshot this a little bit, but 60 kilometers looks good. We want to be at surface velocity minus here. And let's ditch all of that very, very useful fuel. Very useful indeed. Let's inflate our heat shield. And we'll retract our solar panels. The heat shield is also in the category of overkill for this, for the record. And we're going to head on through. Now, all of this is wasted, but it is at least going to burn up in the atmosphere. It's not going to become space garbage. So that's good. Let's get oriented here. And we'll physics warp our way through here. And yeah, there's those mountains that I was saying that I had noted. We're currently over the Explodium Sea. And we'll see how that ends up going. We're heading towards mountains. But this is very liquidy looking here. Highlands right now, though. Lowlands, shallows, and lowlands, midlands, lowlands, Explodium Sea. Shallows. Looking better. Explodium Sea. Okay, this isn't looking great for landing on land. Wait, Midlands. We're going to land in Midlands. Amazing. I love it. That's really, really good. So at this point, we want to move this guy up. We don't want to stage this until our parachutes actually open. So that's looking fine there. For some reason... Okay, I'm slightly distracted right now. My taskbar on my screen with OBS is not going away. Like, why are you not auto-hiding? What do we got going on here? I don't know. Is it OBS itself? No. Okay, well, I'm going to stop being distracted by that, or I'm going to pretend to stop being distracted by that more particularly. We are over the Midlands, and we should send out our chutes. We're pretty high up right now, and we're falling quite slowly, all things considered. Quite slowly indeed. One thing we could try to do is... Oh, that's actually... that was a bad idea. Let's come out of physics warp. Actually, if we were to stage right now, or when it's facing more upwards, would this be fine? Potentially. Let's try it. Now. Yeah! Okay, that was a safe detachment of the heat shield. Remarkably. I didn't expect it to be a safe detachment of the heat shield, to be clear. I want to turn these guys up a wee bit, but we are... Actually, I want to turn them down a bit. Let's do this at 1,000. And we can just be on kill rot. Let's put this guy at 1,000 as well. The reason I want to turn it up is because we know that we're going to be moving real slow through this atmosphere. We know that for a fact. So this guy I'm going to put at 500. Cool. Let's extend our landing legs. I wonder if Jorik has realized that there's no engine here. We can grab a crew report, and we can't really transmit it back while the antenna is here, but we can grab the crew report anyway. We're moving a little bit fast for the EVA report. I feel like once our chutes deploy, that should be fine. Are we physics warping right now? I don't think we... No, we're not. So let's physics warp down a bit. And once we get to around 1 kilometer above the surface, then we'll drop out of the physics warp. Hey, here we go, moving through the cloud layer. Looks good. We're about 2 kilometers above the surface right now, moving at about 65 meters per second. Drogues deploy, bringing us down to about 15 meters per second. And then the main chute will deploy here in about 100 meters. Once the main chute deploys, I want to grab this EVA report, actually. This doesn't have any collision on it, does it? We're going to go right through this bubble, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 4 meters per second. Let's go ahead and EVA. We're going to grab an EVA report, and we'll hop back in. Cool. That was a very precarious situation indeed. I'm pretty sure that these bubbles don't have any collision on them. I'm like 93% sure of that. Let's physics warp down a bit. We're falling quite slowly still. And, yep, we just go right through the bubble. Cool. It disappears as we turn the camera this way. Slightly awkward, but that's fine. Let's head on down towards the surface. We're definitely moving slowly enough. Cool. Looks like a very clean landing, all things considered. A little on the speedy side at 4 meters per second, but what are you going to do? Okay, so let's go ahead and extend our solar panels. Not that we're going to get a lot of power here. Yeah, that's about what I thought. Actually, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. We'll extend our antenna, both of which, the solar panels and the antenna, somehow managed to survive the heat shield detachment. I have no idea how, but I'm very delighted about that. And at this point, we can definitely start transmitting data. We have a very light connection. But there we go. There's that data transmitted. We'll now grab our crew report. We'll grab an EVA report and a surface sample report. All of this will be transmitted data. We have no way to process it here. We have no way to return it. So we're going to transmit all of this. Beautiful. And now we can have... We could grab it again, I suppose. I don't know that there's any point in transmitting it again. We can try. How are we doing on electric charge? We're doing okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any point in... Hi, heat shield. I'm pretty sure that's the heat shield over there. Something impacted over here and survived the impact, actually. We can zoom out and take a quick look here. Where did it go? Where's that box at? This is us here. It would be out over this way somewhere. Can we just switch to it? It's not nearby enough. Okay, it was out this way. There it is. I want to keep it on camera this time so that I'm actually keeping my eye directly on it. It disappears, but it's... Yeah, here it is. It's just hard to see. What do we got? Oh, hey! This is the heat shield component. So the heat shield was attached here. The heat shield did not survive, but the struts did, and so did the decoupler. Cool. We're not done here, of course. We need to continue to work on our contract. So we have a contract parameter complete to touch down on Eve. But we're not done with the contract. We need to plant a flag on Eve. So we're going to have Jorik EVA. And at this point, does Jorik have a way to get back in? I'm going to retract these solar panels. And then we're going to lower this down on the legs. So we're just going to lower the legs. like that. I'm hoping that Jorik is going to be able to get up here and get in like this. Are we? Yeah, we are definitely migrating a little bit. Let's extend these legs back out. And yeah, we can see we're definitely still sliding across the surface. That's fine. We're going to EVA here, and we're going to drop down. I'm sure it'll be okay. We're going to... I'm not sure of that at all. We're going to plant a flag out over this way. There we go. Guys? How am I to get home? Don't tell him, but he's staying here forever. So we are going to put in, at this point, our EVA pack, and we're going to start getting this all set up, right? So we're going to drop this here, and we're just going to continue to grab these guys on out of here. We're going to replace the parachute this time, and we'll drop the experiment control station here. Beautiful. I don't know if we're going to be able to get him back in, to be honest. That's a legitimate concern at this moment, but he has completed all the mission parameters at this point. Jorik's survival is now considered a secondary mission objective, so we'll see how that goes. We can also extend these solar panels now that we know that we're not going to tip over. Okay, we'll grab our passive seismometer. I wish that had been set up when our heat shield crashed. But there we go. We will grab our communitron. That can go up over here. I need to remember to grab this solar panel, of course, which we'll just put... I wonder if that'll stop us from sliding. That'll be interesting. We'll put in another solar panel here. We'll put this one here. That's fine. And another solar panel. This one can go out over this way. We're about to see if we're going to collide there and stop sliding. So far... well, now. Good thing we already transmitted everything back. I did not expect that to just blow up the landing leg. Okay. We collided at like 0.0 meters per second there. The good news is Jorik can get back in the pod now. And we don't have any repair kits, so we're not going to get any additional power out here other than what we have here, of course, which I'm sure Jorik can use that to help recycle his air and such. So he can get back in the pod. He's still got a connection. Yeah, this seems functional. I don't see a problem here. Cool. So that's all fully set up. All 100% according to plan. Perfection. I love it. Let's head back at this point. We have completed our contract to explore Eve. So that contract is now completed. And let's head on back to the Space Center. I actually can't see how long the recording has been because of that taskbar popping up issue. Exciting. Oh, I solved it. It was OBS. Cool. Thank you, OBS. Now I can see it again. So we're going to load in here to the KSC. And let's see what exploration contract we get out of this. It's going to be very interesting, for sure. What do we got? Exploration contract to explore Moho. Return to Kerbin from a flyby of Moho. Should be pretty easy. Let's grab that. And we know we have a budget of like 300k to do this. What is the price of the craft that we just sent to Eve? I mean, we wouldn't be doing the landing portion, so we'd be able to strip back some of it. That would definitely have what we needed to do a flyby. Would it have enough to return as well? I would think so. I would think it would. So, we would be ditching the heat shield. That would go away. We would be ditching the TD-12 decoupler. We'd be ditching the landing struts. One thing we might want to consider doing is having a small amount of fuel on this to compensate for that weight. and to be able to push us a little further towards returning home. So we would bring like a T-400 fuel tank and a poodle attached to that, or rather probably a terrier. And then this guy would get attached here, like so. Now, we know that there are some structural issues with this. We know that we need to have some struts that connect from here to here. That should clean up that structural issue. And we don't have these struts connected at this time. So we would connect these struts in dual symmetry for now, from here to here. So this would be basically the same thing, right? Do we want to actually grab the data? If we're not going to land, we have potentially more space to do that in. It's an interesting question, for sure. We can back off on this fairing. That's pretty clear. So the fairing would not need as much. Do we actually want the data here? And we should call this the Moho flyby. Okay, so let's hop out of here and let's take a quick look at how much science we have at this moment. We're going to be getting quite a lot more, specifically from what we've put down on Eve. How much science do we have right now? We're getting close to the cap. 467.4. Okay, that's not enough to get anything in here. But, I mean, we could probably cap this between the Eve science and the flyby from Moho if we grab the science. Let's do it. It's not going to be all that complicated to do, right? We'll just have to extend this a tiny, tiny bit. And that should be fine, in theory. We have so much DV in this thing that we should be, in theory, reasonably fine. So all we would do is we would put in a payload bay here. So we would put in a 1.25 meter service bay. We'd open this guy. We'd probably want to bring a scientist on this one, for the record. We would probably not bring Jeb. We'd bring, like, Luke here. Yeah, Luke has the least XP. So then we would bring our science. And we would need to bring a science collection unit as well. So an experiment storage unit. And we would actually place that inside of here, or just place it up top here. Something like this. That would do. Drogue chutes would go there like that. We would put a heat shield here for re-entry into Kerbin. And then this would have a decoupler. So a TD-12 decoupler would go here, and then this would attach like that. So it's a little bit different of a payload, for sure. We would delete this fairing for the time being. And we'll build a new fairing. But that'll be fine. Let's put in our science experiments. So we're going to want a science junior, probably, as well. We'll put in a science junior here. We do not need to have this container module. The computer flight unit can go on the inside here. We can ditch the container module. We're not going to be landing on Moho. So we can do something like this. This guy should be in dual symmetry. There we go. And we'd be bringing a scientist along for the express purpose of resetting these experiments, right? That would be the idea here. Why can we not go inside here? I think that might have been why. Maybe? Hey, camera. I can't zoom in any further. Okay. Let's try from over here. Okay, let's ditch the heat shield here then. Yeah, that's working correctly now. Cool. So we'll put in a mystery goo containment unit. We will put in a press map barometer. Let's see. We have mystery goo. Magnetometer would go in probably somewhere like here is where I'd put that. Negative gravioli detector. Absolutely. That's going to be a lot of science. Experiment storage unit is going to be necessary. Let's... Actually, we put that up there. That's right. We would need a seismic accelerometer. We're not going to land, so that's actually not useful. A spectrovariometer, this requires an atmosphere, I believe, but we can probably just test that there isn't an atmosphere, right? If I recall correctly. So we can put in this guy like up here and then just move that into a correct position like that. Cool. And then we'd bring just a 2-hot thermometer. So we'd bring the science equipment like so. And then this guy would connect up here like that. Then we'd build our fairing, which we do have to go outward a little bit here. Not that much. Like that. And then just bring it in something like that. Cool. That should do fairing-wise. And then I would like to still have this be connected from, say, here over to here, just to give it that extra little bit of stability. Okay, so something like this should do the trick, in theory. This thing is still a monstrosity, don't get me wrong. It's definitely still a monstrosity. 1.55, yeah, it's basically the same mass as the previous craft. And it'll actually go a little further with this T400. And we threw away, like, what, 8,000 Delta V? This is still probably overbuilt for Moho. So we'll save it, and I think we'll launch this. I think we're ready to go. It's just a flyby, but we have to come back. And coming back from Moho is kind of exciting sometimes. Have I ever done a return trip from Moho? Now that I think about it, I'm not sure I have. Should be interesting. This thing has a lot of DV in it. And if we need to, we can send a refueling mission. I'd really rather not. I didn't look at how much this was going to cost, but we're going to recover a significant portion of the cost up here as well. So that should be fine. Kill rot, throttle up, and off we go. We're not going to grab this data. We're not going to grab any data here until... We shouldn't need to until we get to in-space high over Moho. So that's all looking good. We can start our gravity turn here. How long on our SRBs? Still a decent amount of time, of course. So we're going to start getting some horizontal speed here. We're still putting it primarily into vertical speed at this moment. I don't want to get too far ahead of the marker here because we definitely don't want to tumble with this. That would be very bad. But we're just going to make our way on over and park somewhere around the 45-degree marker, as we have been. Yeah, we'll let the prograde marker catch up with us a bit here as the SRBs start looking to detach. So we'll make our way over to here where we're just barely putting more into the horizontal speed than the vertical. We'll hold here for the moment, and we're going to lock surface velocity up for the time being. 3, 2, 1, and SRB detach. Always awkwardly long there, but this seems good. Let's switch to orbital prograde. And we can see our apoapsis height is doing pretty decent here. We're going to go to horizontal velocity up shortly. In fact, we can do it now. So we're going to go to horizontal velocity up here and just punch our way through this atmosphere. We're plenty high in the apoapsis, and we're just going to burn here until we're at 100 kilometers. This will be fine. So that's 90 kilometers. That's 100 kilometers. Technically, these side boosters haven't detached yet. Okay. I just want to get that done. We had basically no Delta V left in it. So we're going to park there. That's fine. And from here, we're going to circularize. Looks good enough. It's probably not perfect, but it does not need to be. So that's all good. We're going to head over to the node. We can definitely deploy our fairing now. We no longer need to have that. So that is all looking fantastic. We'll extend these solar panels as soon as we're in space. 1 kilometer to go. And there we go. So extend our solar panels and get our antenna set up. Yeah, Luke is the correct one. I just wanted to double check that. That would have been awkward. We could have still recovered this well, it wouldn't have been cheap. It would not have been cheap at this point. So we're just locked to this node for the time being. We're going to warp forward here, and we'll commence this burn shortly. Here in about 20 seconds. 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Cool. So let's get ourselves entered into orbit, and then we'll head on off. So I want to see here. Okay, this is definitely a little bit odd. Yeah, that's the problem here. So this guy needs to be moved up here, and we can do something kind of like this. Do we seriously only have one drogue chute? Okay, that's a little awkward. But it should be fine, all things considered, considering what we're bringing back. That should, I think, be okay. Only one drogue chute is certainly awkward. I definitely intended for that to be 2. So it would be something kind of like this. I want you out in your own stage. In your own stage. There we go. Cool. Yeah, only having that one drogue chute there is awkward. It turned off our symmetry at some point, but it should be fine. 3, 2, 1, and... Okay, this is good enough. Beautiful. So what do we have up here? Another almost 2,000 DV up here? Beautiful. I love it. That's very, very solid. So if we look at our overall DV right now, we have like 12,500 here. This is going to be a lot of DV. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to head off for our Moho flyby. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadowwolf, and Lohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kentogan, Andy Magar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.